two of the best performing layout tutorials on this channel are these ones. I know how to make them in InDesign, that is the easy part, but today I want to see if I can recreate both of them in Affinity, and more importantly, whether the process is easier, harder, or even possible in the first place. Both of these layouts will be available on our website at lyhstudio.com, but let's see how far we can get here. So if you guys remember this exact layout in InDesign, it's all about having these circles and putting on special effects to the inside and the outside as offsets. That's the same effect that we're gonna try to go with. Full disclosure, I did try to implement this in Affinity. I don't think it'll be able to do 100% of what we're trying to do here, but we'll get something really close. Let me show you guys how. So here I just have a dual spread of 8.5 by 11. And then we're gonna make sure that we're in the vector studio. Now I'm gonna create just a couple of ellipses. So 1, 2, and let's say a big one over here, 3. Now I'm gonna make sure that these guys somewhat touch each other for now. And then I'm going to just select all of these guys, go into vector, geometry, compound, add. So that's going to connect all 3 of these guys, but also keep them separate and only attach when they're basically touching one another. All right, next guys, we're gonna go into the contour tool. So with the shape selected, over here on the left, there's going to be contour tool, and it's gonna function very similar to the offset tool in Illustrator. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and make this a negative value. So I'm gonna try 0.5 in negative. And then here you can see it's already going to produce a nice cool effect for us. If you try with some of the other options like miter or bevel, you can see that they are going to make a completely different joint than what we're trying to go for. So I'm going to be keeping it on the round, and then we're just going to leave everything else as is. I'm going to just go ahead and double click into this compound shape, make some of these a little bit bigger or smaller, and just adjust them until I figure out something that I like. Now it's gonna do this thing where it doesn't fully pull super smoothly on the side. You can see when it pulls like this, it's more like a cheese string pull. This joint gets really thin, which is not really what I want. But I think what we're gonna do with this type of jointing is we're just gonna do something that is pretty interesting, where it looks like it's just trying to link up, but it's not touching. So something like that I think would work really well here. With everything selected, I'm just gonna position it on the page that I think would make sense. And then all we have to do is get our image in. So for this particular layout, we use this image. I'm going to do the exact same thing where I just lay out the image on the actual canvas and just position the image so that I want certain elements such as the model's face in the actual circle. And once I find something that looks good, I'm just going to drag this mask onto the image, and it should be able to clip it right out for us. So in the original layout, I also had 2 other shapes that is down here. So one somewhere around here and one somewhere around here, just to round out the composition a little bit. So I'm going to do the same thing for this layout. But first, I'm going to make these 2 into a compound. So go ahead, geometry, compound, add. And then I'm going to duplicate this layer. So right click, duplicate. And then I'm going to release this clipping mask by right clicking on it, just deleting the compound there, and then dragging in this compound onto this layer. And then we have our 2 other shapes that are going on down here. Now, all there is really left to do is add the text and some background. So we're gonna start with the background first. Right click on the shapes tool. We're gonna make a rectangle and just drag it over everything on the right here. Now I'm actually going to sample a color, so we're gonna use the eyedropper tool, which is down here, and just sample a nice darker orange color from somewhere down here. It's a good idea to always sample from the image, so that you have a coherent design. I'm going to drag this all the way down in the layers tab. Now once we're ready to add in some text, we can go over to the layout tab, because layout usually is better for text. So here vertically we have our title, and then we have some text box that is doing a text wrap. Let's start with our title first. So this is going to be fairly simple. All we have to do is create a frame text tool and just drag it out and type your title in, whatever you want. And then make sure we're choosing the font that we want, as well as the size. So here I actually want to change the kerning a little bit. So if you go over to the characters tab, Alternatively, you can switch it on in the Windows tab up here. You can actually change the different tracking and kerning in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just change the tracking for all of these guys. So let's do something like a 50 and then just rotate it around like this. Great. Now that's in there, I'm going to change this to the same color as what's going on the right. So I'm going to use the color picker tool or eyedropper and just basically sample the exact same color over there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with a little bit of a caption text underneath. So there we go. Now we just have to add a text box over here and some text wrap. Again, we're going to go in with the same frame text tool and just drag something over right here. I'm going to insert this with some filler text. Change this to a color that's visible on this. So I'm going to go with something that's like white. And I'll change this to a font that I think makes sense. And also make this into a smaller size. And then we'll go ahead and add a text wrap on this. So in order to do that, all you have to do is select the shape that you want to add a text wrap to, and then go up to the actual show text wrap settings. So I have this toolbar quick slotted on the top, but if you don't have that, go into text and then go into text wrap. So with the object that you want things to go around selected, go into the text wrap setting and we're going to use tight. Here it's basically going to squeeze a lot of different elements so that the text goes around it. So here you see that some of our other text, like our title, is also disappearing because we have a text wrap around this entire shape. And that unfortunately is getting rid of all of our title. In order to override that, we're going to go into text wrap, and then just hit ignore text wrap. You can see that it'll immediately bring our object back and it'll basically show one more time. Now the last portion of this is just adding some sort of quote down here in this blank portion. And it's basically the same workflow, so I'll speed it up and you guys will see the results real quick. Okay, that looks pretty good. One last thing we're going to do is just make the text into two different columns. So that's fairly simple to do. All you have to do is check on that one column, change the margins just a little bit. Maybe we'll do like a 0.25. And there you go. So here's the two side by side. The one that's done in Adobe, Illustrator, and InDesign is a little bit harder to make, in my opinion, than the one that was made in Affinity. But let me know what you guys think. And speaking of making things a little bit easier, today's video is sponsored by Luma AI. Before we move on to the next step, I want to show you something that I've been experimenting with recently. Luma AI recently released a new interface that introduces something called creative agents. The idea is that instead of jumping between a bunch of different AI tools, you can use these agents to generate and refine visuals in one workflow. So for example, if I need a unique visual element for a layout, maybe a background scene for object that fits the concept, I can use the agent here to generate a few variations. Then from there, I can iterate on it, adjust the style, or refine the result until it fits the design that I'm working on. Once I have something that I like, I can export that visual and bring it straight into my layout and treat it like any other design asset. For designers, it's actually pretty interesting because it makes it a lot faster to experiment with visuals without hunting around for stock images. If you want to check it out, I've got a link to Luma AI and their creative agents in the description. So click in the description if you want to learn more. Okay, so this one is also super interesting. It's a curvature with a spiral and there's text on the spiral that kind of spirals all the way out of the page, and it's got a nice classy design to it. Now this one, some parts are easier in design, some parts are a little bit more finicky, but let's try to get this done. So if you guys remember from this video, I'll link it up in the top right here. I spent like 4 minutes just trying to create a spiral. I was like making circles, cutting it in half, and then joining it again. Well, the thing is, in Affinity, there is actually just a spiral tool. So let's go back into Vector. And then if we go over to this, the rectangle tool, and right click, down here, there is a spiral tool. And what we can do is just create this spiral. So with it selected, we're going to try to get a little bit more turns. Let's do something like 15. We don't want too much. There are some other things that we can change, but we're going to leave that as is. Now, the one thing we do have to make sure is that wherever the spiral ends needs to be at the top of the page for it to kind of just tail off at the top there. So I'm going to rotate this all the way up here. and then I'm going to make this bigger. So something like that where it takes up almost all of the left page, but not entirely. So once we have something like that, we can go ahead and click on it. And then what we're going to do is convert this to curves. And what this will allow us to do is actually connect a second line or connect basically a pen tool to it. So here I'm just dragging out my pen tool so that there is kind of like a continuation of the actual spiral. And I can obviously adjust this spiral so that it looks nice and smooth on the page. All right, once we have a shape that we like, what we're gonna do is add the spiral lettering onto this. And to do that, we're gonna go into layout. So here we're gonna go to the left into artistic text tool. And when you hover over this shape, so make sure you have it selected. When you hover over this shape, you can see that it turns into a nice T with a squiggly line. Going to go ahead and click that where I want the text to begin and basically just start typing in my text. Okay, once you have all the letters in, we can go ahead and move on to the next step. But before that, I just want to say that there is something that I'm not a big fan of, which is if your text kind of exceeds the end of the line type here, it'll basically flip itself and go backwards on the bottom. If you guys know how to turn that off, let me know down in the comments because it's a little bit annoying to have to adjust that every single time. Now, with that said, what we're gonna do is go into the artistic tool one more time, or the artistic text tool one more time. And here you can see a green triangle and then a orange triangle. So the green is basically where it starts and then the orange is where it ends. What we're going to do is just push the green out a couple of rows so that we're able to get the middle to be blank in order for us to put an image there. So we just have to push it out enough so that there is enough of a blank space. That looks pretty good to me. We can fit a nice picture in here. Here we go again, the text going backwards. I'm going to just delete some text to address that, but again, let me know if you guys know a better fix. Then we're going to go ahead and select the picture frame ellipse tool. So we're gonna actually put 2 on the page, 1 in the middle of the circle here, so somewhere right here, and then another one actually on the right here. In our original layout, we had another picture on the right just to anchor out the right side spread. So we're gonna drag an image into each one of these. So this one to the middle here, and then we'll drag the other one all the way out to the side. So now that we have both of these images, I'm first going to just center this a little bit. But what we're going to do is give each one a little bit of an effect. So for this one, we're going to make it look like it's inset into the page. To do that, we're going to go down into the layer effects and then just give it an inner shadow. So we're going to adjust the inner shadow a little bit so that the radius is larger, the offset is larger, and then play around with, where it needs to be in order for this to look like it is something like inset in the page. That looks pretty good. And then for this other one, we're gonna use a outer shadow. So we're gonna make it look like it's popping out of the page. So outer shadow, and then let's play around with this until we get something that we like. Now, before I move in to add a bunch of text on the page, I do want to just create a nice rectangular frame behind everything and put in a nice background, similar to what we did in the original video. So go ahead and drag my image in and then make sure that this is on the very bottom so that everything else shows up. But the next step is to add in the text. You guys already know this, so I'm gonna fast forward this part. All right, and before we finish it off, 2 last things I wanna do. Number 1 is create a nice rectangle below this quote just to highlight it a little bit. So for the color of this rectangle, I'm going to be using the exact same one as this, which is sampled from this image to the right. Now, the last thing we're gonna do is just increase the size on some of this text so it looks like it's getting bigger and bigger as it moves off the page. You just have to select the different words one by one, make them a little bit bigger. So let's go to the character tab. Let's start out with something like a 30. And then we'll move on to highlighting these 3, making that into something like a 24. Great. We can also go ahead and add different colors to it. So for example, if I want this to be the exact same highlight color, I can just go ahead and select that color that I recently used and also give some other letters in this entire word spiral the same highlight color, just so we get that across the entire spiral. And that's it. Here are the two side by side. One is from Affinity, one's from Adobe. Honestly, for this particular one, they were both fairly fun and easy to make. If you guys have learned anything new from this video, feel free to leave a like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. And with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.